Welcome to WSOT TV City Talk. So glad that you are joining us today. I'm your host, Angela Stepp, and beside me, I have Mr. Jess Allenball. He is the mayor of Marion, and today's show is all about the city of Marion, and boy, do we have some amazing things to talk about. Starting with, well, maybe we'll save this for later. Jess, we have a human cannonball coming to Marion.
We do. He's a brave man.
Yes, from America's Got Talent.
Right, he's appeared on the America's Got Talent.
We'll have to wait a little bit to get to that, because you know why? This is the viewer's show.
That's right.
And so everything that we talk about is pertaining to the city of Marion, and it's what they have submitted in for you to address. So now, folks, I want to let you know, as we're watching the show, if you have a question, a comment, or a concern, or just a suggestion, we would like to hear from you. And you can do that a couple of different ways. We have a show message line. It's a local number, 765-536-WSOT, 765-536-9768. You can call that message or text that message anytime. You can also go to the show website, ctmarion.com. CT is in City Talk, ctmarion.com, and you can submit your questions and comments online there. You can also watch archived episodes, and the show you may be currently watching is on there too. Now, Mayor, I have a bunch of submissions from folks that we need to jump right into. I know that they've missed seeing you. We had a guest on the previous month, so glad to have you back.
Good to be back. Let's get to it.
All right, we'll do it. Okay, well, the first one comes in with a question about trash pickup. And this is specifically off of Spencer Avenue. And there's a mattress in the alley and some other trash. And the viewer said that she had called City Hall and was hoping to get response and hasn't seen anything yet. So I'm wondering, can we raise that awareness to you and you follow up on it?
Is this the alleyway you say?
This is the alleyway.
Yeah,
and I have a specific address. I won't give that away on air out of courtesy, but it's off of Spencer Avenue.
Okay. And what I'll do then is I'll take that address with me and pass it on to the appropriate people in the city workforce, and we'll try to take care of that problem for you. But I do appreciate you making that noticeable to us. Sometimes we get a lot of calls and a lot of emails and letters about this kind of thing, trash and blight in the community, and we want to get those addressed as quickly as possible. So I'll take that info with me and we'll get that addressed.
You know, speaking of trash and blight, let me just flip over to another question that I had from Brenda S. Brenda, thank you so much for calling in. She is inquiring about a couple of houses near the 1100 block of Gallatin that she is aware of, that they are on the demolition list as part of the blight elimination effort here in Marion to be torn down. And she said that there are houses that are around it that have already been torn down, but these two seem to be still there for some reason. Lots of overgrown grass and all the other elements that accompany that blight. Wants to know why they've not been torn down yet.
Well, once something goes into the blight elimination program, we go through a process. Once it's entered, it's just kind of the norm. Sometimes it takes a while. It's like a street that's not paved in your neighborhood. We're paving streets all over Marion, but if it's not your street, it's a nuisance when it's not paved, and that's the same with blight. We have so much blight, but if this is already on the demo list, then it's in the process with the court as well, and we'll go through that process. And I can't tell you exactly, I don't know the details on this one, but if it's in the process, it's going to be coming down. It's just a matter of when. If you want to get more specific on that, call City Hall, 662-9931, and give that exact address and ask my assistant if we can look into that and give a better time frame of approximate time anyway of when that house will be coming down. It sounds like a number of homes in your area have come down, that's encouraging. We're trying to eliminate blight as much as we can and as fast as we can.
Yeah, share with us a little bit about the blight elimination progress that we're making here in Marion.
Well, last year the state helped fund blight elimination, and we were able to tear down 40 structures last year, and we're actually recognized one of the two top blight elimination programs in the state of Indiana.
Top two?
Top two. We were recognized as one of the top two in the state for how we utilized the program last year. We don't know yet how we'll be rated this year, but we have a little less money because we're not getting the state funding. This is just, we're using city money to make these things happen. So we'll continue to work on blight elimination. It's one of the top priorities. Paving streets is one of the top priorities. These are a couple of things that are kind of basic needs for our community, and blight elimination will make houses worth more in neighborhoods and will make us more attractive neighborhoods to people looking at Marion as a possible destination.
You know, that's so true. I've been seeing a lot of roads getting paved lately. I just have to say thank you. Chapel just got paved, and as you know, WSOT Studio is just right off of Chapel, so super happy about that because that was a really rough road. Maybe not as rough as some other folks' roads, but it was still rough, and I'm really thankful. Thanks, Mike Graff, for helping to make that happen too. Okay, so next question comes from Mary, who she is watching us off air, channel 27, and she was wondering about Branson Street. She said if you try to go to Max Hardware or St. Martin's or anything in that area, she feels like the roads are a real mess. I know you did pave that, maybe was it last year?
Yes, within the last 2 years, Branson Street's been paved. I'm wondering if she means some of those side streets right off
They
Branson
are kind of
And that's,
rough.
we're focused on the main thoroughfares right now. In fact, I can share this with you. By the end of this year, 2019, we will have paved, brand new paved, approximately 1/3 of all the miles of roads in Marion, Indiana. And that's pretty significant. But I also know that if it's not in your neighborhood or your road, it doesn't seem quite as impactful, but we really have, under my administration, focused on paving those roads that we all use the most, your major north, south, east, west thoroughfares. So we're about finished with getting all those paved. We're not quite there, but we will be soon next year, and we'll start going more into the neighborhoods then.
Well, we have a couple more minutes before we have to take breaks, so I want to jump in real quick to something that's a little bit more public notice here, just in the theme of doing some blight elimination and improving roads, etc. So there was a public hearing just recently about this City of Marion's collaborative grant application for $600,000 through the Office of Community and Rural Affairs Main Street Revitalization Program. With the intent to try to obtain funds to infill some of the underground vaults downtown and under some of the sidewalks, and then also maybe even make some more progress on the pedestrian and bicycle paths. Can you share with us a little bit of information about where we're at? I know that hearing just took place recently. Any idea, is the city going to be able to receive that $600,000 grant?
Well, we actually won't know whether we'll receive the grant until probably November of this year. That's when the grant cycle will finish up, and we'll find out where the community, one of the communities that is awarded that kind of money. But what we're trying to do is take the sidewalks that you see downtown now and start with the one on the west side of the square in front of Salem Bank and go all the way to really the end of the new Boston Hill building. We probably can only do 2 blocks with that $600,000. That doesn't sound like a lot, but repairing sidewalks is not cheap either. And we would actually have a more enhanced sidewalk. It would be more beautiful, prettier to look at with new light posts downtown, and also room for a bike trail, because we also want to connect the walkway to the Cardinal Greenway. So we are working on a next level trail in conjunction with this one that would also connect us from the walkway on the river downtown and come up Washington Street, cut over somewhere on 9th or 10th Street over to the 10th Street Cardinal Greenway near where the old Emily Flynn used to be. And then we would be connected all the way to the Jonesboro. We do that because there's another group from the county that's working on extending the Jonesboro Greenway all the way out to however far, but they eventually get to Gaston. This is a state and national initiative to make us a more walker and biker friendly state community. We are not the healthiest group in the United States, and this is an initiative that Gary Colcom, the governor of Indiana, is focused on. This Okra grant could be big for us. It will be slow incremental change, but it'll bring beauty and accessibility through various forms of travel for us. We think it could be a real game changer for our downtown.
It would definitely enhance the experience downtown for sure. Well, you know what? We need to pause for a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to keep taking your questions, and we've got some more questions about traffic control, and we're going to be talking about the Walkway of Lights. Christmas is not too far around the corner, and of course, we're going to be talking about the human cannonball that's going to be here from America's Got Talent. I know it sounds like such an unexpected thing on the show, doesn't it?
Better him than me.
You know, we're going to tell you all about that when we come back right here on WSOT City Talk. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to WSOT City Talk. We are talking about everything pertaining to the city of Marion, and we want to hear from you. If you have questions, comments, concerns, and suggestions, then we want you to call into the show message line. It's a local number, area code 765-536-WSOT. That's 765-536-9768. You can call or text that number any time of the day, 7 days a week. You can also go to the show website, ctmarion.com. That's CT as City Talk, ctmarion.com. You can submit your questions online there and watch archived episodes. Now, I have with me the Mayor of Marion, Jess Allenball, and he is answering your questions. And, I'm excited to get to the Walkway of Lights here in just a little bit and talk about Brian Meiser, the human cannonball that was on America's Got Talent, who's going to be part of that effort.
Lots of exciting things happening at the Walkway of Lights this year. This is going to be exciting.
Can't wait to talk about that. But first, we're going to get into some more viewer questions, okay? So first I want to say thank you. We have a 93-year-old lady who enjoys watching the show, and she just wanted to pass along some well wishes and that she is continuing to keep you in her prayers. So I want to say thank you to all of our wonderful viewers who watch so faithfully and that you take the time to call in and offer those words of encouragement. They are dear to our hearts. Thank you so much. Next, I have a question. This is a traffic control issue. Corner of Grant in Illinois, about a block off of Pennsylvania. There's a four-way stop intersection there. And the inquiry here is people are just rolling through that intersection from any direction. And there's great concern that there's going to be an accident, that somebody is going to get hurt severely, and would like to know maybe could we see a new stop sign or something put in that intersection just to help draw awareness to the intersection that you need to be stopping.
Well, that's one of the questions I would have had. I asked our city engineer, Mike Graft, recently. Well, actually, it was probably the beginning of summer, late spring, about starting to change out all of our signs, not just the street name signs, but stop signs, speed limit signs, no parking, you name it. And I asked him when was the last time we changed those out, and he said, well, I've been here 28 years, and you're the first mayor to ask me to start changing out signs. So I wondered if that was one of those stop signs that you can hardly see. It's just an octagon shape that's faded, but we are working on that. It'll be a slow progress because there's not a lot of money to do it all at once. We are going to look for see if we can find grant money to make that happen, but it is a challenge. This is one I will take with me. If Angela will permit, I'll take that information with me, and we'll address that when I get back to City Hall.
Yes, definitely. No problem. We always want to make sure that you have copies of everything before you leave. So don't you worry. We make sure that he has them. Okay, so the next inquiry, let's jump over to Tim A. Now, Tim, you've called in a few different times and you've had some questions about left-hand turns. And so I'm going to kind of summarize here. Mayor, he is basically saying that he has safety concerns about left-hand turns from 2nd Street onto Mason Boulevard. He's wondering if there's anything that can be done to control traffic a little bit better, make it a little bit safer. And then he's also called in some additional concerns, turns, again, left-hand turns on 5th, 7th, 8th, 20th, and I think 2nd and the bypass. He is worried about left-hand turns in all of those areas. I think he's seeing some lanes that are closed, but he sees that there are turn lanes, also traffic signals in some cases. Would you like to address that in some way?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Tim for his question. Secondly, I'm guessing he's right-handed. He has a problem with left-hand turns, but no, I hear all of those complaints. What I would say, Tim, is if you could call City Hall and just say you would talk to the mayor via Sunnycrest TV, set up an appointment. I'll set that appointment with the city engineer, remind my assistant that we need the city engineer there too, and we'll look at these different intersections and streets that you're concerned about. The one that jumps out at me is the bypass. When you talk about the bypass left turns, I've often kid that we should not permit that. That's a state highway, but just tell them to go down another block, turn around, come back around, because left-hand turns are where so many rear-end accidents happen. You come up on a car that's trying to turn left, and next thing you know, you're rear-ending that car, and that happens a lot. Or you swerve into the other lane to avoid it, and you hit a car in the other lane. So I would really encourage you, Tim, set up that appointment at City Hall, 662-9931, because you have numerous concerns. I would be willing to sit down with the city engineer and let's address that.
I thank you, Tim, for calling in and raising the awareness of that. Folks aren't aware of this. My brother was just in a rough accident where he was a victim of a left-hand turn scenario. He was sitting and waiting. It was on Nebraska near First Street, and he was sitting and waiting on the vehicle in front of him to be able to make a left-hand turn. And somebody came up behind, and I guess they were distracted and just didn't see that they were sitting at a stop and plowed right into the back end and totaled his big truck and the guy in front of them and their car. Thankfully, minor injuries, no serious injuries or anything. So we're really, really thankful about that. But the second hand, the left-hand turns, whether it be at Second and the bypass or any of these other places, those are definitely, they can be tricky sometimes. People are always in a hurry, and we have those mobile devices, and we have people in the car, and you think about when kids are going, it's time for parents to take kids to school or pick them up, and we're always in a hurry. So I just want to encourage folks, there are certain times of the day that traffic is a little bit more hectic, whether people are trying to get to work, get to school, or transition from school to an event or home. We're always in a hurry, but I want to encourage you as you're out on the road during those times in the morning and in the afternoon, take a little extra time, be a little extra aware, because you just never know, could save a life. All right, so next thing, we want to jump into Susan D., thank you for calling in. She called in on the message line. That's a local number, 765-536-WSOT. You can call in or text that number too. Mayor, she has a question about a need for animal care. She called in with a scenario where she had an animal emergency. It was a pet emergency, an injury or something that had been sustained. She could not find a local veterinarian that was open over the course of the weekend, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday scenario. And she had to go clear down to Muncie to try to get treatment for her pet. And so she was calling in to try to raise awareness of the need and also to find out, is this a need that the city can meet?
Well, that would require us to pay overtime on the weekend. We do have the dog catchers out at all times when needed on the weekends, but you might also call the Humane Society and see if they know of any vet. But it is something, that's another one I'll take with me back to City Hall and ask about that with the animal care and control people. And Jerry Faustnight oversees that. He's the building commissioner and animal care and control director. I will check into that and see. Many times you have a doctor on call. I wonder if it's time we had a veterinarian on call on the weekends.
I think so. It seems like weekends we get a lot of activities. We're out and about. We're doing more physical things, and it seems like that's usually when the injuries or whatnot happen, just because we're out doing things more with our pets and families. So, okay. So next, Antoine C., you called in with a really good suggestion, and I think I'm going to bring this up to the mayor in the hopes that we actually do follow up with it. So Antoine watches the show regularly, and he had a request. He would like for us to start doing follow-up to viewer submissions from previous shows. So the things that we're talking about today, he would like to see next month for us to have some time on next month's show to address what we talked about today, what progress has been made. I think that's a great idea.
I like that. I mean, you want to make sure your government's actually doing the work you're asking them to do, and I get that. We think we are. I feel like I have a good team around me that's doing their jobs on a day-to-day basis, but I like that idea. Sometimes it may take the next month before we are able to address an issue, depending on what that issue is, because some of the lists are long, and it's hard to get to everything as quickly as citizens in this community would like. Especially when it comes to blight and potholes and you name those basics things that we talk about and we see so much of in our city. But I love that idea, Antoine. I think that's something we could accommodate you with.
You know what? We have just a few more minutes before we have to take another break, but I want to focus on something downtown because there's a lot of exciting things that are happening downtown. And one of them is coming up on October the 4th and October the 5th. And this is something that is organized by Main Street Marion. It is going to happen Friday, October 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, October 5th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is the second annual Discover Downtown event that is going to be taking place at the recently completed 5th Street Commons. And this is a really neat opportunity for folks to experience the positive changes that are happening in our downtown area. I'm pretty excited about this. Are you going to be attending that?
Yes, I will. This is one of my initiatives was to try to bring our downtown back to life. It had been sitting dormant since, shouldn't say dormant, but it had been rather stagnant since the 70s and 80s once the North Park Mall opened up. Everything went there. Now the malls around our country are dying, and I wanted to see our downtown with Highway 18 going east and west, and many people traveling through Marion only seeing a downtown with little to no activity except people going to work. Now they're seeing people go to live in downtown. Marion apartments are opening with people living in downtown. We have Los Amores restaurant, the Boston Hill Center, formerly the Centrum Mall, is filling up with businesses.
That's a spotlight of business, and it's a beautiful restoration.
And that restaurant, yeah, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Ridley Tower is another one.
Yeah.
The old Marion National Bank.
Mm-hmm.
That will be open with 30 apartments
mm-hmm.
by the end of next year. And there's already a couple of tenants ready to occupy the lower floor.
Yeah.
Businesses.
Uh-huh.
And I know you have some information on another one that's going to be going in on the north side of the square.
Actually, let me pop this up. I had a chance to speak with Linda Harmon. She is the owner of Design Studio 407. They are presently located downtown on South Washington Street, 407 South Washington Street. And this is a little takeaway card. And on this, there's some images of her store. And so she provides design services, whether it be giftware, window treatment, all kinds of wonderful accent gifts. And she is going to be relocating Mayor downtown on the square. She's one of the city's spotlighted businesses. That's one of the reasons that we're talking about it. And I got to visit with her for a little bit. And boy, the first thing that I noticed when I stopped into her current location is it smelled so good. Oh, it just all kinds of wonderful, warm, spicy potpourri fragrance. I walked in and it just felt so warm and friendly and inviting. And then she was there, and she's just a darling person too. So they're going to be downtown right on 3rd Street as you're coming in town.
North side of the square in the old Steve Wolf building. That's
mm-hmm.
where that's been renovated by BDP,
mm-hmm.
Bowers, Daly, and Pruce. They renovated that. I actually have a tenant upstairs living in one of their apartments upstairs now, a market rate apartment. Very, very elegant, beautiful, contemporary apartment. That's being occupied. And then Linda's going in downstairs. And yes, you're right. She's a sweetheart and very talented.
Very talented. Well, you know what, folks? We need to pause for another quick break. And when we come back, we are going to be talking about all things related to the Walkway of Lights. And Brian Meiser from America's Got Talent and his contribution as the human cannonball to our Walkway of Lights efforts. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more WSOT City Talk in just a moment.
You might have noticed things are changing, but guess what? Not everything changes. God doesn't change. And he says, no matter what, I'll always be with you. In the midst of the sunshine or the rain, I am with you. Whether life is a bull or a bear, I'm with you. Even when the unthinkable happens, I am with you. So don't worry. Be happy. You're not forgotten. You're not forsaken. God is with you.
You're watching WSOT City Talk. I have the Mayor of Marion, Mr. Jess Allenball, with me, and we are talking about all things pertaining to the city of Marion. But right now, as we've been talking, we're going to talk about the Walkway of Lights. Marion is Christmas City, USA, and wow, do we have some exciting things happening over the holiday season this year. Mayor, that Walkway of Lights, they're changing some things up. We're going to start having lights on November 23rd, and the gift shop at Matter Park is going to be open starting on November 23rd, but the parade is getting moved to December 7th. And the parade is not just a parade. It's a whole day event to kick off the holiday season. Now, Mayor, for folks who don't know what the Walkway is, it is a holiday display that spans over 2 miles and features more than 2.5 million lights and more than 120 displays, and it goes all along the Mississinawa River Walk in Matter Park. But it starts as you're entering into the city of Marion on State Road 18, and then you can follow kind of a lighted trail, if you will. But this year, the downtown is going to be part of that. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know the parade route is getting changed.
It is. And one of the things that happened was after last year's parade, I spoke with Julie Fowler. Julie Fowler and Rose Cadena from Marion Parks Department have helped put on that parade, kind of be the directors of that. And I told Julie I'd really like to see the parade come back downtown. That way, when it's over, we can capture everybody around the downtown, especially around the square, and have a celebration. The evening doesn't end when the parade ends, it's just beginning. And now those who want to go onto the Walkway of Lights and just go through there and do that and go home, that's fine. But we hope many people from the community will just come down, celebrate the holiday season. There'll be all kinds of things for people to do. Steve Wright came in as president after he retired. He's finally back in Marion, and Steve, he also had that vision. He wanted to see the parade back downtown. As the president of the Walkway of Lights, he had to have buy-in or it wasn't going to happen. So it's going to be a really neat look. We think it's going to be an exciting time, and I'll let you talk a little bit more about the details.
Yes. So here's some of the information that I happen to have, and I'm going to share with all of you. So Steve has told me that we have a very special guest, Mr. Brian Meiser. Now, he was a contestant on America's Got Talent, and he has been nicknamed the human cannonball or the human fuse. And I understand that he is going to be shot out of a cannon on the tennis courts in Mater Park. And that's going to help be the kickoff for lighting the events for the December 7th effort. Can you imagine?
No, I couldn't imagine.
Folks, you don't want to miss that, right? It's at the tennis courts at Mater Park, and he's going to be kicking off the day. Now, the event is going to start Saturday, December the 7th, and it's from noon to 10 p.m. So it's all day. You don't have to get up too early, but noon to 10 p.m. And all around downtown, there are going to be vendors and booths set up. And by the way, if you want to be a vendor or have a booth, Rose Cadena is your contact person. She is with the City of Marion, and you need to get your registration in by November the 15th. And I know that they are doing early bird registration, so if you want a discount, then you want to call Rose earlier than later. For example, if you happen to be a food truck vendor, you need to register by November 1st to get the $35 early bird discount, but it's $50 after November 1st. So that's just one example. If you want to have a booth, maybe you have crafts or home goods that you want to set up and let people shop there. You know, it's $25 for that booth, but if you do it by November 1st, it's only $15. So you want to call Rose Cadena and make sure that you get that. Now, we have all kinds of events that we're going to be talking about throughout the month of December. Breakfast with Santa, all kinds of other events, family events. So we're going to be featuring that on the show. And before I go, because, man, we're almost out of time. Do you know what's coming up? A lot to talk about. We will continue. Now, October the 5th from 6 to 8 p.m., Carry Services, Pursue Your Passion Expressions, a community art experience. This year's event is rapidly approaching, and if you've not heard, they are going to be opening their Creative Hearts Art Studio. It's on Carry Services Marion campus, and the evening is from 6 to 8 p.m. on October the 5th, and it's full of fun and discovery, and so we want to make sure that you check out Carry Services and their wonderful creative opportunities, and maybe even buy some art. Wouldn't that be great?
Good idea.
It's a great idea. You know what, folks? We are all out of time, and next month we're going to continue sharing more exciting information about the details pertaining to the Walkway of Lights, and we're going to keep taking your questions and calls and submissions. Make sure that you do give us a call, 765-536-WSOT, or go to ctmarion.com. That's all the time that we have for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more quality family programming that you can trust right here on WSOT TV.